Hey everybody, it's Stephanie Henry again. I'm just here to kind of talk to you about M3, engaging technique success stories with something that I have implemented in my classroom. And this actually, I'm not currently teaching students, so this is something I did last semester actually that was fairly successful, I felt like. And so the tool that I used was Quizizz. And if you're familiar with Kahoot, Quizlet Live, things like that, this is an online sort of web page that you can use to create games to engage your students. And so we were getting ready to have a test over chapter 9, which has to do with like transcription, translation, DNA, and DNA synthesis. And my students were kind of struggling a little bit. So I created a Quizizz to kind of help them through that process. And a couple of reasons that I decided to use this tool. One, I feel like gaming is definitely engaging for students. It taps into their competitive side if you have some competitive students, but it's low stakes. So it's not like I don't grade this or anything like that other than completing it. But it's a great review tool. It kind of teaches students how to study. It provides for friendly competition. And another thing that I really like about Quizizz is that it can be used both for synchronous learning, which I did use it for that, where we're all together. And you could use this when you did like a Teams meeting or whatever, you can set this up. Or it can also be used for asynchronous learning students that maybe aren't able to attend class, or maybe they want to review the material again, they can do so on their own. And then you can also kind of get the results to see and assess how much your students are understanding the information. So here are kind of the results that it gives you. So here are some different questions and some of the things that the students understood. And some of the things maybe that they didn't understand so well. So like for example, the segments of DNA, the covert protein are called. Only about 65% of the students understood that, 29 got it correct, 7 got it incorrect. So maybe that's something I want to cover again in class. Ways that I prepared. So first of all, you have to create an account. If you don't have an account in Quizizz, and it's really easy, it's free to use. There is a pay subscription. I don't pay for it though. I just use the free version. And of course you do get some extra perks if you pay for it. And then if you already have an account, you go ahead and log in. And then ahead of time, I kind of thought about some of the questions I wanted to ask, but you can also use other people's questions, which is really nice. So there's a search function and you can search for other people's questions if you're not sure what you want to ask. And then I typed up the questions that I wanted to ask and I saved them. You can also use images, which is something I really like because in biology, there's a lot of images. And then you can either play the game live in class if you're on a Microsoft Teams call or a Zoom call. All you have to do is go ahead and it'll say, I think back at this last screen here, it'll say start a live quiz like here. So you can start a live quiz, or if you're doing asynchronous learning, you can assign as homework and select a due date. To go ahead and pick when the assignment will be due. And then so you have both options to be able to do that. And then if you're going to assign it in like as asynchronous learning, what I usually do is take a screenshot of like this and it'll give them the link, but I also put a link in for them to click on and it'll give them this code and they just put in the code and it'll bring up the quiz for them. So that's kind of nice. Some other things that we were supposed to talk about, implementation. So I implemented it during class. So we just played it live during class, but I also provided asynchronous learning. So A, if the students wanted to go back and review it on their own time, or B, if I had some students that were absent from class or whatever, they could go ahead and do that. I felt like it was fairly successful. I felt like for me, it was a good eye-opener that maybe some of my students were not completely understanding all these concepts. So we kind of went back through and reviewed some of the things. So that's one of the things that I learned. One of the things that I think that they probably learned, so they learned a little bit more about transcription translation. They kind of had a better understanding of where they were at as far as the review and the test and things like that. And also some students come with us having a pretty good understanding of how to study and other students don't. So I think it provides those questioning strategies so they can question themselves and go back, and maybe if they miss something, they can find that section and go back and review it a little bit so they have a deeper understanding of it. And as far as how it went, I think it was pretty successful. The kids seem to have a pretty good time with it. Some of them really get competitive. And another thing I like about quizzes, they throw memes in there and things like that. So it's kind of fun for the kids. And there's some other gaming strategies, like there's power ups and things like that. So I think that the kids do enjoy quizzes. And I think for the most part, it was pretty successful. And I think that's everything. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.